Hey Austin,
What's up?
what car do you drive and how much do you pay a month?
I drive a 2023 green Audi A5, and I pay $679 a month.
Okay, and what about you, Brian?
A 2020 Lexus ES350. I pay $588 a month.
Hey Kevin,
Hey,
what car do you drive and what's your monthly payment?
2020 Supra, 2019 Audi RS5, combined payment to
CaveFam, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another reaction. This is Segovia coming to you live from the man cave. Hope everyone out there is having a good day. Y'all, we're back with another video on the second channel, y'all. We're gonna get consistent over here. Today's video, we're doing the TikTok stuff over here. Like I said on my big channel, link down below. We're doing the TikToks over here, but we're doing something different over here. We're doing a little miscellaneous. You know, we're going to be doing some inflation things, you know, some boomers versus Gen Zer things, some price of car payments, interest rate type things, scary type of TikToks. We're going to be getting into all kinds of different things over here, and we're going to find what sticks, and with what sticks, you know, we're just going to hammer down on that. But make sure you guys, y'all, if you're new here, I do daily uploads on my big channel, link in the bio. Over here, we're going to start off slow, right? We're going to walk before we crawl, do what I did over there, and we're just going to do 4 uploads a week over here, and eventually get into daily uploads when we get the routine going, right? So be sure to hit that subscribe button. When we get to 1,000 subscribers, we'll be doing a giveaway over here, so make sure you guys hit that subscribe, hit that like button, because it helps the algorithm grow, and it's going to get this channel out there and blowing up, y'all. But I ain't going to sit here and talk you guys' ears off. I know what you guys came here for. You came here to see why our pockets are so empty and our wallets are full of lint. Enjoy the show.
The millennials and Gen Zers who are complaining that they can't buy a house are not working for minimum wage. These are people making $60, $70, $80, $90,000 a year who can no longer afford a house. But minimum wage workers are also complaining because they can't afford rent. If you look back to 1980, the rent was $243. Minimum wage was $3.10, meaning your monthly gross was $496. So to rent this apartment, it would be 48.9% of your gross income back in 1980. But let's fast forward to 2024. The average rent is $17.47. The federal minimum wage is $7.25, giving you $11.60. You can't even get an apartment with the federal minimum wage. But let's be generous and double the federal minimum wage, because people at Walmart and fast food joints are making $14.50 to $15. So $14.50 would bring you to $23.20. So technically you're making more, but this is your gross, and it'd be 75% of your gross income, making double the federal minimum wage in 2024. But let's take it even a step further. ZipRecruiter said that the starting pay for college graduates is $24 an hour. So that would be $38.40 a month. So someone with a bachelor's degree could afford this one-bedroom apartment, but it would be 45.4% of their gross income. A college graduate is spending the same amount of their income on rent as the minimum wage worker in 1980 did. Roughly the same. And the minimum wage worker in 1980 put on a hat, learned skills for 2 weeks, and started their job. A bachelor's degree spent 4, 5, 6 years of their life in school and $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, and now have to spend the same amount of money on rent as a minimum wage worker did in 1980.
Now you can make a living off that 3840. You can survive out there in the housing market. Renting, also, you just got to be smart. You know, I don't know, you got student loan payments to get there most of the time, right? But you can't have a car payment. You can't have the vacations. You got to live like no one else, so one day you can live like no one else, just like Dave Ramsey says, right? I live like no one else right now. I don't really do both of my cars are 2008s. I paid cash for them. I don't got no car payment. My car insurance is $88 for both of them, so $44 each. And I'm okay with that. I'd rather have no bills and have money in my bank account at the end of the month than the fancy car. That's going to come with time. It comes with time. But I see a lot of people out there driving brand new cars that are $100,000, $80,000 cars. And that's the reason why they're in the hole they're in.
I keep seeing these videos about people aren't getting paid enough to afford rent, and I just have one thing to say. It makes no fucking sense that the wage to rent ratio does not match. And I live in Florida. Florida is very expensive. The rent here is insane. Like, I live in a 4x4 apartment, and each of us pay over $1,000. Like, that's fucking ridiculous. That is $4,000. Like, I don't know if I don't know about economics, if we're all just getting fucked, but I do not understand how people are affording to live right now. And I know this is a big crisis that everyone's talking about, but The reason that I say this is because people think when they get out of college and they get their first job that they can just go live on their own and become financially stable. Absolutely fucking not. If you are not making at least 1/3 of your rent, you should not have that apartment. You should not be moving out, because people do not realize how expensive shit is. How much stuff you have to buy besides just rent and utilities. You got your car insurance, your phone bill, your food, your credit card bill, your fucking gas. And I'm no fucking financial advisor, but the wages should match the rent in that area. And don't get me wrong, like, my girlfriend lives in like a cheap area where like her rent is like less than $1,000 a month for a 1x1. So yeah, the wages might be like, you know, a little shittier. Florida, none of the wages are increasing in Florida, but the rent is fucking through the roof. Like, they raised mine $300. Bitch, I already pay $1,000 to live with 3 rugrats, 3 strangers that I don't know. I'm not paying $1,300 for 3 roommates. Like, you got me fucked up. The rent prices piss me off, because why in the fuck are you charging that much for an apartment? These landlords are eating you up, spitting you out, really sucking on your dick hard too, because they are getting so paid. They're making so much money off of you.
They are. I lived in an apartment for 7 years. Guess what? Not one year, not even during COVID when they said rent won't go up, not one year did rent stay the same or lower. Every year it went up. Even during COVID when they said we're not going to raise rent, guess what? They added a new fee. A cleaning fee or something that was like $50, so they still got their 50, right? Rent always goes up every year, and the wages don't go up. They don't, right? I was making, when I was working at LabCorp, I think I was making $17 an hour. I was barely getting by. I couldn't even get by back then, you know. So you got to find a side hustle. You got to find something you're passionate about and work on it on the side, like I'm doing with this YouTube. Now I'm starting to get the ball rolling, making some good money on the other channel. Still not full time with it, but we're getting there. Got to work on your dream on the side.
Are dealing with the realities of that bread costs more, that gas costs more. That's about having to stress and stretch limited resources. That's about a source of stress for families that is not only economic, but is on a daily level, something that is a heavy weight to carry. So it is something that we take very seriously.
I know.
One more time. How much a gallon? That's all I want to hear.
Why are you taking a video?
How much is it a gallon? You work here?
He's taking a video.
How much is it a gallon? That's all we want to know. You're filling gas, right? How much a gallon? $10. $10 a gallon. Okay. Video me, okay?
$10 a gallon over there. Augusta, Georgia. $10 a gallon. People are just getting rich, especially when there's times of crisis. Unfortunately, corporations, they don't care. They don't care. They're going to get you for all the dollars. You know why? Because it's in demand. Just like rent. They're getting rich off you. Their payments didn't really change, or they bought it cash, whatever. But rent always goes up. Every 7 years of living in an apartment, rent went up every single year.
I would have to disagree that $2,100 a month is damn cheap. And a lot of people have commented this, but it's just not true. So I'm going to explain why. The national average salary in the United States right now is $59,000, and $59,000 after taxes, your take home every month is about $3,800. So if you are a household or a single person living off of that one salary, that rent right there is more than half of what you're making. And that's just the average. So of course there's going to be people that are well below the average who cannot even afford a $2,100 rent that you guys are saying is cheap. Now, I'm not ungrateful at all. I'm blessed that we are able to afford this $2,100 of rent, which we got at this rate because we moved during COVID, during the height in 2020. We moved there in 2020 during the height of COVID, and they were having a really good deal because they were desperate to get people in. Now, unfortunately, that rent is about $3,000. But why are we normalizing Why are we normalizing $2,100 a month of rent as being cheap when the majority of people in the United States don't even make enough to afford this type of rent? So many people have roommates. So many people who are families and have multiple children are living in an apartment instead of living in a house, which is what we are saving for. We're never going to own this apartment. We're all just throwing our money away, renting instead of buying. We have no buying power right now as millennials and as Gen Zers. Why aren't we able to afford to buy things like the generations before us did? How come we're the ones that are screwed? I was born and raised in California. It's not going to be possible for me to buy a home here because the average price of houses here, and these are old houses, like 1950s houses, is about $700,000. I thought I made decent money. Last year was the most I ever made, right? I thought that we would be able to afford a house. We're not going to be able to afford a house that's almost $1 million. It's just not going to happen. So I understand people saying $2,100 is cheap. It's not cheap. It's cheaper than other places, but we are all of us are being overcharged for rent, and these houses are insanely expensive, and there's like no chance of most people ever even being able to afford to buy a house in their lifetime. That's sad.
Now, I had to move out of state. I had to move away from my family. I had to move away from, my lifestyle out there. I had to move away from that to be able to afford. I'm paying now what I was paying in my apartment. That's what I'm paying now. And the house I got, I think this house I got it was $213,000. 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet, 2-car garage, front yard, backyard, right? Safe neighborhood. It's quiet. To get a house for $215,000, I'm not going to say in Arizona, but in the Phoenix metropolitan, in the Gilberts, Chandlers, Goodyears, Avondales, Dollisons, Levines, in the city of Phoenix, I wouldn't be able to afford it. Not even in the worst of the worst areas is there a house for $215,000 over there. Not even that. If I wanted to live where I grew up in, Avondale, Goodyear, Surprise area, you're looking at a good $300,000, $280,000 to $300,000 for the same house square footage that I have here. Over there, about $300,000. When just in 2019, 2020, that same house that's $300,000 now, what's 140, 150,000, maybe 180. You imagine the equity those people got overnight like that? Man.
Anybody notice, like, stepping outside, you're spending $100 easily in 30 minutes off bat?
I can tell you are.
But like me going outside and doing shit these days, I'm spending like $200 off top. I went to Juice Land the other day. I always get a small home run, $6. Then they want me to tip them just because they put some shit on the fucking iPad.
Yeah, we're going to be getting into the tipping culture too over here, y'all.
Like, I'm a great tipper. If I go out to a restaurant, you gave me a service, you're doing this, you're doing that,
yeah,
I'm willing to tip you. But for some iPad shit, this shit's getting fucking ridiculous. Had to go fill up my car, $50 right off bat. Lord forbid I need to eat and go to the grocery store, go buy some shit. $30. Yeah, that'll last me 2 days. You better not go try to socialize with your friends either. Oh, let's go to the bar. Let's go grab drinks. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. Fuck, $40 already. You better not go on a date. See, I done got smart with these dates. If I go on a date, like, usually, if you taking some girl to dinner, $100, easy. Easy. I'm to the point where, like, yo, you want to go to coffee? I don't even drink fucking coffee. I hate fucking coffee. You know what? I'm going to start to like coffee today because, yo, $100, $20 sounds good to me. Fuck, living is expensive.
That's what I'm not dating no more. I got my lady, but our first date, this is what I started doing because I was on the dating apps, right? Been on countless dates. I got tired of going bowling and never hear from them, or going out to eat and never hearing, right? Because that happens. So I started saying, let's meet up at a park. I'll bring a drink, a Sonic, a coffee, whatever you want, or we can go get a drink at, I don't drink alcohol, so we can go get, a coffee when we meet up, whatever. My girl was like, I'll meet you at the park. We met up at a nice park. I got some Sonic drinks. I spilt her drink, right when I was turning in there. I made a sharp turn and boom, there went her drink. So that was our first date. But that's what you got to do on date. And if a girl doesn't want that, then that's not the girl for you. If she's like, no, we need to go out to eat, we need to go bowling, they start using the I don't feel safe thing. I ain't gonna meet you at midnight at the park. We're gonna meet at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Kids are at the park playing, right? Families are walking, exercising. I ain't trying to meet you at 3 in the morning at the park. That's what y'all gotta do in the dating. And if the girl doesn't want to do that, move on from her, y'all. Don't go for that.
Check out the gas prices in Birmingham today. Holy crap.
$9.95.
Whoopsie or a joke or a...
Where's that at? What are these license plates?
Clearly, something ain't right.
That's crazy.
I don't know if you know this, but there is a reason behind these high-ass rents. Before I get into it, like, follow, share, tag someone who may need to see this. Look, the FBI just raided Cortland Management in Atlanta for rent fixing. What is rent fixing? Well, basically, they've been fixing rents on this pretty much system called LRO through RealPage. And so, let me explain what LRO is basically. It's basically a lease rents optimizer, basically. Archstone Smith was a major company back in the early 2000s that created this system. And so it made the pricing of rents go up and down daily like the stock market. And so basically a lot of these property management software companies had incorporated this type of software. So you might call on an apartment complex one day and the rent may be roughly $2,000, and then the next day it may be $2,150 because it depends on the daily market. So now Biden has decided to probe these companies, and these companies have been rent fixing. So now the FBI is starting to raid a lot of corporate offices, thus beginning to show that there has been a rent fixing scheme. And that is why our rents are so high. So
Could have told you that.
It's ridiculous, especially out here in California, whereas I entered my apartment at $1,895 and I'm now paying $2,500, even though the market rent for my apartment right now is $2,900. And if I wanted to get a 2-bedroom apartment in my area, in my building actually, is roughly running between $3,900 and $4,000 a month now, which when I entered the building, the apartments were going, 2 bedrooms were going for about $2,500. So there you go. Rent fixing. This is ridiculous how these corporations are taking advantage of us to squeeze us dry. And I'm letting you know, they're talking about tax these corporations. You cannot tax these corporations because these corporations are in a trust structure. So, like I said, if you want to consult with me about trust or property management or rentals or whatever, I have a link in my bio, Snowy Consulting and Media, and you can definitely hit me up through there.
Sometimes you're going to have to move out of your state. You're going to have to move out of your state. You know how I found where I'm at? I typed in Google because I originally wanted to move to Payson, Arizona. I love the outdoors. I love fishing. I like kayaking. I like mountain biking, trail running. That's my thing. Can't do it where I'm at now. About to make a move in a couple weeks where I'll be able to start doing that again, moving really close to a mountain range. But anyways, I had to move out of state. You know how I found it? I Googled cheap, safe places to move in Texas. That's how I found where I'm at. And then less than 2 months later, I was living out here. So sometimes just if you know of a state, or you know what you like doing, you like the nightlife, you like, I don't know what you like. I like the outdoors. I didn't really find that where I'm at, but I just typed in cheap, safe places to live in Texas, and this popped up, and I was like, you know what? I'm still far away, but I'm gonna drive away from the family. I can just drive there and be there in 6 hours. So that's why I picked where I'm at now. Now looking back at it, I wish I would have moved somewhere a little more green, maybe a little more east in Texas, something a little more green, because I grew up in Arizona in Phoenix, where it is desert, right? Everything's dead, and I moved to another desert. So, if I ever do make another move, it'll be somewhere a little more green, where we get maybe 4 seasons, where we get rain, stuff like that.
Now, what I'm about to say may piss a lot of landlords off, but I don't really care at all. But I'm going to read to y'all the qualifications that this person wants for this house. And it ain't an amazing ass house. We're not talking about anything super expensive. The rent, like I said, is $16.95, $40 application fee per adult. They want you to make 3.5 times the rent. Standard, for whatever reason, is 3 times the rent. When majority of Americans don't even make 3 times a $1,600 a month rent. I don't know where people just get up and be like, oh yeah, we're just gonna make this a national standard that people have to make 3 times the rent amount. Majority of people can afford 2 times the rent on a specific basic home like this. But this person is going even further. They don't want you to have 3 times the rent. They want you to have 3.5 times the rent. They want the last 2 years of your W-2s, the last 3 months of your check stub, driver's license or ID, social security card. They want you to make 2 months worth of rent as your security deposit before you even move in, and you have to have a credit score of at least a 670. I'm trying to tell you off the bat, that disqualifies so many people from being able to be in a home that is decent. Let's add that up, why don't we? Off the rip, you have to pay first month's rent, $16.95. You have to pay $40 application fee per adult, and let's just say the standard adult is 2 adults, right? You have to pay, if you have a pet, which majority of people in Houston do have pets, dogs, it's a $250 non-refundable fee per pet.
Let me break down my house that we're getting, right? Me and my lady. The seller is going to pay closing costs. So they're gifting us $9,800 for closing costs and all that. So we have to come in with another $9,000 for the down payment and all that. So you can get all this. All you need is 2 years W-2 or 2 years of income consistently. And you can find a seller willing to pay closing costs, sometimes even more. They'll pay it all if they got enough equity, but let's just say they'll pay closing costs. And you just have to go in there with $9,800, maybe $10,000, depending on the price of the house, right? But you can get, why do you want to rent if you can own it? You don't need that. You got that $3,390. That's a deposit. You ain't gonna get that back. I don't care what you do. When you cannot even stay in the apartment for a year, you're still not gonna get that money back. Put that towards your down payment, save up 3 months, and you can have enough. If you can qualify for that, you can save up 3 months and be able to buy your house.
So let's just say you have a pet. We're going to add that up. And then you have to make 2 months of the rent to equal the amount of the security deposit. So that's $16.95 times 2. All right. And on top of that, we're not even talking about your utilities and all the things that you have set up. They want you to have rental insurance before you move in. Standard rental insurance is probably about $25 a month. Let's just say that. Yep. Before you can even move into this house, sitting in a savings account somewhere or just idle money, you already got to come off of this amount of money.
And that's damn near your down payment. Another $3,000. There you go. You can get your own house. Because I was going to rent before I moved out here because I was lost. I was like, I don't know what to do. I can't afford it out here. Rent. I don't want to be in an apartment. I've been here 7 years. I feel stuck. Same apartment for 7 years. I couldn't afford a house out there. I was going to rent. The realtor told me, honestly, I'm going to be real with you. It's harder to rent than it is to buy a house. It's harder to rent.
I don't know at what point we stop being human, though. Even as an investor and a landlord, at what point did we stop being human and we say money trumps everything, including people? I don't get it.
It's crazy how we're told that we qualify for rent between $1,300 to $2,000 for these small ass unupgraded apartments in this economy, but we don't make enough to qualify for decent houses. Like, that is crazy. Like, no one's addressing that, and I think that's why our generation has a right to be so mad about the current state of everything, because we're the ones that are taking the brunt of everything that's happened. Like, I hate that I qualify for X amount of dollars in rent, but I'm having a hard time finding a lender that's willing to give me enough for a home that is decent and a good size. And if I was to get the home that I want, I'll be paying the same amount in mortgage that I'm paying in rent. And that is crazy that they're saying that we can't afford that. It is crazy. Like, I went to college, I got my degree, and I'm working up in my career field. I make a decent salary, but it's like since inflation happened, they just moved the goalpost. And what used to work 4 years ago doesn't work today. So it's another goalpost that we're going to have to get. And it seems unattainable because inflation's not slowing down anytime soon.
How are we supposed to buy a house when my rent is going up another $195 a month? It has gone up $720 in 4 years for the same place that I live in. $8,640 a year more for the same place I lived in 4 years ago. I'm sorry, property taxes are not going up that much that landlords are charging that much more. We have to stop blaming the economy, the government, the president. It is greedy people taking more profits in. When people tell you, just move somewhere else, why would I move to another state that's cheaper? Why should I have to uproot my family, lose my career, just to afford to live somewhere? You're implying people who live in where I live now don't deserve a fair shot at cost of...
Because I said that in the last clip. Because you don't got a choice, bro. You don't got a choice. You can sit here and complain on TikTok. You can get any president in there. You don't got a choice. You have to. If you want to get what you want, unfortunately. But that's just the game, y'all. That's the game. I had to leave the game. And guess what? Life changed dramatically when I left out of my hometown. Changed dramatically. My confidence came up. I met a good woman. I got a baby on the way. I always say if I was still in Arizona in that apartment, I'd still be the same damn person I was, stuck in life, getting nowhere fast. Right?
Living. And places with cheaper rent pay lower salaries. That's how this whole thing works for the most part. And my girlfriend's a teacher. Like, if she moves to a state with a cheaper cost of living, she might not even have a pension or her benefits anymore. Instead of telling the middle class to keep, like, looking somewhere cheaper, why don't you all align together and get people out of control that are doing this to us? You are always closer to being homeless than you are to being rich. Like, everyone just assumes one day they're going to get rich. And that's why they don't stand up for people just like them in the struggle right now. If not for the raise I got 4 years ago, I would be totally screwed. I don't even want a handout or help. I just want things to not be so crazy expensive every year. Like, go buy pizza from where I work. Go buy my merchandise. I don't know. Not a handout, just advertising.
The Biden administration, whether you're pro-Biden or anti-Biden, the empirical evidence shows that our COVID response under President Biden destroyed the U.S. economy. And now, as a result, inflation is rampant, recession is pending.
Besides the fact that I'm extremely struggling to pay my rent every month, you know how I realized that it's really, really bad out here? I live in the hood, okay? I live in the hood. The hood. Garbage everywhere. People's dogs not tied up. Pit bulls running around. Litter. Dog poop. People riding bikes. Women of the night down the block. Like, I've been living here for 1.5 years. And when I first moved in, it was 100% black. Like, 100% black people. And now, I was just walking my dog and this white guy was like, to me, dead ass. Now, all of a sudden, I've seen at least 4 of the apartments taken by white people. And this is like the cheapest spot in town. Also, some Hispanics have moved in as well. Like, when I first moved in here, there was a white girl that lived here. But I feel like when I realized everything changed, when I seen white men moving in here, I was like, oh shit, it's bad out there. It's bad. And I'm actually scared, guys, for my lease being up in January. I'm very scared. I'm very scared for what's gonna happen. That being said, please help me get to 10K. Oh my God, I gotta get out the hood. Please, please, please. I'm not gonna be able to afford the hood. They've already raised my rent. They tried to raise it $125. I talked them down to $75. They're probably definitely gonna raise it again at that. And this is for the hood. No supermarkets, no restaurants, nothing. Like, I don't know, we're just sitting on here on social media talking about it, but it's like, what do we actually do? What are we actually doing? The election is in November and they haven't even talked about the election. They're not even like trying to get people to, come out and vote and be on our side, because I feel like they know what it is. They're going to wait till the last minute to be like, all right, well, you have to pick somebody. You got to vote for Biden, since you don't want Trump. Like, no, we can't do that. We cannot do that. I know it's a little bit all over the place, this video, but it's bad out here, dude. Rent is really bad. And yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm very scared. I don't want to live in my car, not with two dogs.
That is terrible that people, how do I say it? That middle America is living like that because of this guy right here. And the fact that they're negotiating down from what she said, 175 to 70 or whatever, just lets you know that they're just taking advantage of you. The fact that if they can negotiate, then they got a lot of wiggle room. If they go from 100 down to 70 or 120 down to 70, they got a lot of wiggle room right there.
Could rock the U.S. economy. Again and again and again, we get hit. What will this do to prices? President Biden will not use federal law to stop it from happening. The administration says it doesn't want to interfere with collective bargaining. Well, that's a union thing, and we got a presidential election coming up, and Dems don't want to touch that. We get it. 45,000 workers from Maine to Texas could stop work starting October 1st. And this could cause big supply chain disruptions for the holiday shopping season. Those ports handle nearly half of all American imports. An analysis from JP Morgan says a strike like this could cost the U.S. economy $5 billion per day. FBN's Lydia Hugh is live at the port of Bayonne in.
If you can't live without a car payment, everybody's going to have a car payment set. Everyone who wanted to stay middle class was born and raised middle class and will always be middle class. The average car payment in America today is approaching $700. 10 months of that is $7,000, which will buy a fine vehicle to drive for a few months until you could save up another $7,000 10 months later and buy a $14,000 vehicle. Y'all with me here? You can stay away from car payments by paying cash for reliable used cars.
Now I hear people in the comments of that video saying, you can't find a $7,000. I got a 2008 Toyota Prius that cost me, I think, $6,000. Now it has about 250,000 miles. I never had a problem with it. It runs like there ain't no tomorrow. You know why? Because I did my research. I found that the second generation Priuses are pretty much the best generation of the Priuses, so that's what I got. Never had a problem. Never. My 2008 Dodge Ram, I've had a couple problems with it, but I think that was $8,000 cash, right? They're out there. Go on Craigslist, look at clean titles, look at from seller only, no dealerships, right? And you'd be surprised what you find on there. Instead of these guys, check this out.
Hey Austin.
What's up?
What car do you drive and how much do you pay a month?
I drive 2023 green Audi A5, and I pay $679 a month.
Okay, and what about you, Brian?
A 2020 Lexus ES350, I pay $588 a month.
Hey Kevin.
Hey.
What car do you drive and what's your monthly payment?
2020 Supra, 2019 Audi RS5, combined payment $2,000 a month.
$2,000 a month. Do you want to buy a car from this guy? This guy is gonna screw you. He's gonna give you 20% interest for 30 years, but your payment's only gonna be $300. He's gonna screw you because he's got bills to pay. A lot of bills. $2,000 worth of just car payments. So you know, $2,800 with the car insurance. Call it $3,000 with the gas. $3,000 a month just on his car. You want to buy a car from that guy?
All right. Hey Caleb.
Hey.
What car do you drive and what's your monthly? Hey Moses.
What's up?
What car do you drive and what's your monthly payment?
I drive a Nissan Sentra and I pay about $350 a month.
Okay, that's okay.
A loaf of bread costs 50% more today than it did before the pandemic. Ground beef is up almost 50%.
So I just got out of the water. We're up at the local emergency operations center. They have a Starlink set up, and water rescues are continuous. So the mud is insane here. The amount of bridges that are out, the amount of landlocked, stranded people is unbelievable. There's still plenty of people completely unaccounted for. Keep these locals in your prayers, because I've been doing this since 2013. I got some guys with me that have done it 30 years, and they've never seen anything like this. It's wild. The pictures and videos are nothing compared to seeing it in person. I don't even know how it's possible that it happened. But the job goes on.
Oh, hi. I'm a concerned parent in North Texas, and I don't know if y'all have noticed, but lately these gas prices are getting ridiculous. I mean, every time I go to the pumps lately, I just stare at that total like a calf looking at a new gate. $2.29? This is just unacceptable. How long is the average Republican voter supposed to continue to pretend to be outraged about gas prices when they keep climbing down like this?
Now that's legit. My gas where I'm at is $2.51. I got 10 cents off because I'm on Walmart Plus. $2.41 I paid yesterday. Filled up my Dodge Ram, $48. It was on E. $48 filled it up. So there's places in this country that are still like this. And I know I shouldn't have to move to deal with it, to get what should get cheaper. You shouldn't have to, but that's just the way it is. Right? That's just the way it is. Is this what the strike's gonna do? I'm up and down with it. Let's hope it don't get like this. This is from a hurricane.
So if you're considering moving to Canada, I would highly recommend that you reconsider, specifically Ontario, because that's where I live. And the food prices are just insane. So I just want to give you an example. I asked for 5 slices of turkey breast. You can literally count them. I literally asked for 5 slices because it's for my daughter and she doesn't eat very much. Anyways, I got the Compliments brand, which is like a no-name brand. $7.72. $8 for 5 slices of turkey. What is happening?
I'm going to show you how expensive groceries are in Germany. We got some baby bells for $2.69. In the US, I saw those last time for $11.99. Organic salami here for $1.49. This pizza only cost $1.69. Noodles for 99 cents. We have 4 burger patties for $2.99. Gouda cheese for $1.99. We also have some olive oil here, which is a little bit more pricey. $8.99. Let's go to the fruit. 6 apples for $2.29. Beautiful grapes, $1.19. This here is super cheap. 8 eggs for only $2.29. In the US, it's around $10. The sugar is $1.19. The milk, 99 cents. My favorite oat milk, $1.69. Tomatoes for $1.19. And look, they look so good. There's also super cheap wine here in Germany. We got wine here for $1.99. Chips down here for $1.
We got cheap wine. It's called Mad Dog 2020. You know what I mean? MD 2020s. And things do the job for $2. All you need is one.
$1.09. The cheapest beer I could find, and it's 45 cents per bottle. But still, 45 cents, that's crazy. Really good bread here for $3.89. Also have fake bread here, which is called toast, for $1.29. A huge Nutella glass for $4.89. Okay, let me know in the comments, do you think it's cheap or expensive?
All right, family. There you have today's video. We did a lot of talking today, right? I like talking this type of with this type of content, right? I like it. Let me know down below, what type of content would you guys want to see over here with the TikToks? We're not gonna, don't say the creepy stuff. We got that on the big channel. That's all we're doing over there. Over here, we're doing different things. So let me know down below what you guys would like to see. Made it this far, leave a like, comment, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Like I said, at 1,000 subscribers, we will be doing a giveaway. We're going to be doing about 4 uploads a week over here for right now. Eventually, we will get into daily uploads, but for now, I got to take it easy. 4 videos a week. Anyways, Cave fam, hope you guys enjoyed it. This is Segovia. I'm signing out of this man cave. I'm going to see you guys, what's today? Thursday? Maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Later.